HiToms in another must-win scenario here in Wilson, North Carolina, as the Point-Thomasville HiToms are on the road to take on the Wilson Tobs. HiToms coming in at 15-26, 7-12 in the second half on a 4-game losing streak. The Tobs 24-19, 10-9 in the second half. Welcome into the broadcast. I'm Adam Oppenheim alongside David Katzenmeyer on hand here in Wilson, North Carolina. David, the HiToms are 5 back from the Lexington County Blowfish with 5 games to go. What are you looking for the HiToms to do today?
Well, firstly, it's a tough scenario because you got to win out, and then you got to hope that the Blowfish can lose a few along the way, and that's not if Asheboro doesn't keep running up the table themselves. So the HiToms, they have a long journey to go through if they want to make the playoffs. They're not dead yet. However, a lot of water to climb out of if they want an opportunity. Today, what I want to see from the HiToms, I want to see some selfless hitting. Pitching has been spotty at times over the last week, and the HiToms have been able to string together some big innings hitting-wise, but recently it hasn't felt like this team has congealed the way they should when you're trying to put down drag bunt scenarios, when you're trying to advance base runners around the base pass to get those pivotal runs. Instead, it's just been big hacks with swing and misses, and that's one of the things that I know head coach Sean Stevens was talking about. It's one of the things that I look towards today to hope to see the HiToms improve on the offensive end.
We will now take a short break for the national anthem and get you the starting breaks right after this, as you're tuning into HiToms Baseball on the HiToms Radio Network. Welcome back into Fleming Stadium as the HiToms are facing a near must-win scenario, David. And for the HiToms, let's meet the starting lineup for the visiting team. Hitting first is going to be Kane Kepley in a similar spot he's been since joining the HiToms. Andrew Fernandez will hit second. Austin Deering will hit third. Cleaning up in the lineup will be Josh Karen. 5, 6, 7 is Jack Spike, Josh Davis, Rowan Watt. And the bottom two is Garrett Fisher, the newcomer, and Nate Chrisman. And they're going to be facing the left-hand pitcher for the Tobs, Jackson Brockett, who pitches his collegiate ball at Nebraska. And so far on the year in the Coastal Plain League, he's 0-1 with a 5.57 ERA. This will be his 9th appearance, 6th start. And coming into this game, Brockett has thrown 5 straight scoreless innings.
You had a teammate of the designated hitter today for the HiToms and Josh Karen, so it'll be interesting. That'll be a game within the game to watch this afternoon.
Brockett's 6'1", 190, just finished his sophomore season at Nebraska a couple months ago, was 2-2 with a 4.65 ERA. He had 16 appearances, 7 were starts, so a pretty similar scenario this summer with half of the appearances coming out of the bullpen.
And we'll take a quick look defensively how the Tobs stack up as the last throw is down towards second base. Going left to right on the diamond, it'll be the third baseman in Parrish, the shortstop Branson, the second baseman Ott, and the first baseman Lazitz. Catching Brockett tonight will be Stevens.
So lefty is on the mound, and Jackson Brockett as Kane Kepley, the lefty, steps in the box. And we're underway here in Fleming Stadium. Kane Kepley fouls the first pitch off hard down the third base line. And the outfield will be Josh Hoffman in left field, Scott Makowitz in center, and Seth Gergelli in right field. Our right field wall that is pretty tall, probably about 15 to 20 feet.
And so something interesting, I was able to walk down there towards that right field wall. The tall part of it is actually separated. So if a ball hits off one of those advertisements out there, it is a home run.
The 1-1 pitch is popped up into the outfield. Josh Hoffman's coming on near the third base line. He makes the catch for the first out. So a fly out to the left fielder, Josh Hoffman. And now that you mention it, you can actually see that the walls are not exactly connected.
So it is playing pretty true all the way out here. It's 330 down both lines, and it shoots straight out into the gaps, 405 to center as it rounds. So some very deep gaps here at historic Fleming Stadium.
Here's Andrew Fernandez, takes the first pitch. A fastball high, ball one. Fernandez, the switch hitter, who plays at UT Martin. So in the right-handed batter's box against Brockett, the left-hander. The 1-0 delivery. Double hit and foul. Right near Austin Deering on the on-deck circle.
Caught the first one off the bottom of the barrel and then caught the end cap on the way back around.
Now, the HiToms have had some big innings in recent days, but they fouled it up with struggling on the mounds, including free passes and balls that have been hit hard. As it's 1-1 on Fernandez with one out, just getting started here at Fleming Stadium. Tobs and the HiToms. 1-1 pitch is outside. It's 2-1. And David, the Tobs won the first two games of this series. The first one was a low-scoring game at Truist Point, but the second one, the Tobs run-ruled the HiToms.
So a little bit of vengeance to try and at least get a win in the season series.
And it's safe to say that Tobs bats came to play last time at Finch.
They absolutely did. I mean, they understood the assignment. They knew where they were in the playoff race. They knew that it was a must-win out-of-division game, and it's exactly what they did.
The 3-1 pitch, it's taken high, ball four, and Andrew Fernandez is aboard with the walk. Now for the Tobs, they did not win the first half in the East Division. That went to the Morehead City Marlins. It's 16-8, and in the second half, the Wilson Tobs trail the Marlins, who are in first place, but they also can't get another spot in the playoffs because they already won the first half, but they are trailing the Peninsula Pilots, who are 11-6, so they are 2 games back of them. Here's Austin Deering, takes the first pitch in for a strike. And Austin Deering has been climbing the CPL leaderboards all year long, David.
He has, and he has been really hot as of late. He's really found power with the bat. He's got 3 home runs within the last 2 weeks. He leads the CPL in doubles.
That's a line drive to Ott at second base. Doubles off Fernandez at first. A hard line drive. Ott slides to his left, makes the catch, and Fernandez was too far off at first base. So the HiToms line into a double play to end the inning. And we go into the home half of the first. No score between the Tobs and the HiToms as you're tuned into HiToms Baseball on the HiToms Radio Network. Welcome back into Fleming Stadium. No score between the HiToms and the Tobs as they will get their first opportunity in the bottom of the first. And let's introduce you to the Wilson Tobs starting lineup. Ralph Parrish will hit first. Scott Makowitz will hit second. 3-4-5 is Ilias Stevens, Chase Waddell, and Anton Lazitz. Colby Ott will hit sixth, Following him will be Josh Hoffman. Andrew Branson and Seth Gergelli will round out the lineup. And they will face the righty from the HiToms, Merritt Dry, who's 0-1 on the year with a 9 ERA. This will be his 12th appearance, but his first start, and he's only pitched in 16 innings this year, all out of the bullpen, David. And what are you expecting from Merritt today?
You know, this is probably Merritt Dry's last start in a HiToms uniform based on inning limitations and how far they expect him to go today. So this is kind of one of those things that I feel like Merritt's going to bring everything out of the tank that he has. This is a spot for him. He's going into Western, recently transferred there. And so going into his first full season with Western, I feel like this is a very big spot for him to show them how versatile he can be out of the bullpen and as a starter.
His first pitch in, Rafe Parrish catches the inside corner for a strike. It's 0-1.
Parrish was a nightmare last time against the HiToms.
And grounds the second pitch up the middle for a base hit, right through the center of the infield on a couple of hops, and Parrish is on again. And now let's introduce you to the HiToms defense. Starting off in the outfield from left to right, Rowan Watt's going to be in left field, Kane Kepley's in center, Austin Deering in right. Garrett Fisher, in one of his first games for the HiToms, is going to be at third base. Nate Chrisman will be at shortstop. Andrew Fernandez man second. And Jack Spike will be at first base. And he'll probably be the full-time first baseman for the HiToms the rest of the year, you would think. And Josh Davis is behind the plate, catching Merritt Dry. Scott Makowitz now in the box. First pitch in him is fouled off into the netting.
Yeah, going back to that hit from Parrish, that really wasn't even a strike. He kind of reached up and out of the zone to go get that. It was weak contact, but in just a perfect position to slide just past the left side of second base for a hit.
So Parrish is on first base with a leadoff single. 0-1 on Makowitz. The next pitch has to turn away the left-handed batter, and it's 1-1. There was a lot of hit-by pitches in the game yesterday for the HiToms against the Owls. Looked like they were in a really good situation, up 4 going into the rain delay in the top of the second. Had the bases low, no outs, and couldn't scratch any runs across, as that 1-1 pitch is low on an off-speed pitch. It's 2-1, and then it just fell apart for the HiToms after the rain delay. And it's kind of been the story of this year, David, for the HiToms.
It really has. It's get up big early, and then it's kind of been up big, down big for the HiToms as they're able to get runs across, just not able to hold leads.
2-1 pitch. Gets a piece of it, and it's fouled off behind home plate for Makowitz, and it's 2-2. And the HiToms, I mean, they've been a good hitting team the entire year. It's the pitching has struggled, and it seems like when the pitching has struggled, the offense has not been able to revive enough to have those late inning comebacks.
It's not too often the HiToms are able to put both together.
Dry tosses back to Spike at first. Parrish back in time.
It's a cool 85 degrees here right now. Complete cloud coverage. Wind blowing out of right field, just a tad, kind of mixing between blowing out of right and blowing in from center.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. It's hit on the ground to Andrew Fernandez. He's going to slide over to second for one, on to first. Not going to be in time, and it's a fielder's choice for Scott Makowitz as Fernandez took a step or two to his left, turned his body, and tossed it over to Chrisman, who was covering second, and they get the out there.
Get it out and get the lead runner. Good start on the diamond for the HiToms defensively, as that was a very clean play from Andrew Fernandez and Chrisman.
And Nate Christmas will be his first start at shortstop this year. And this will be the 4th game for Garrett Fisher at third base. Plays at Northern Colorado. The first pitch in to Ilya Stevens is outside, ball 1. So Scott Makowitz replaces Rafe Parrish on first base with 1 out in the bottom of the first.
Stevens batting .214 on the year at the moment, across 70 at-bats.
Dry takes a toss back, and diving headfirst back in safely is Makowitz. Still 1-0 on Ilya Stevens. Makowitz takes off for second. Josh Davis' throw down over the head of Andrew Fernandez into center field, but Makowitz will stay at second base. is Kane Kepley with good anticipation to come towards center field, knowing the throw is going to be off the mark from Davis.
Yeah, and that's made by Kane Kepley right there. Is very good play to keep the runner at second base, but that ball also kind of got snagged up in the grass. I was walking down there earlier. It's a very sticky Bermuda. So while it is cut short, it's going to grab onto the baseball a good bit, especially if it's rolling into the grain like it is out in center.
So the Tobs have a runner in scoring position. Scott Makowitz with one out. Dries delivery. Misses inside. And it's now 3-0 on Ilias Stevens. Pretty good crowd here in Wilson.
Especially for a Sunday.
It's a 6 o'clock start time, which is nearly the latest game of the CPL as Stevens takes that pitch inside, ball 4, and it's a 4-pitch walk, and it's first and second, one out for the Tobs.
It'll be Chase Waddell, the designated hitter, readying up from the left side.
And we've talked about it a lot, David. It's the HiToms got to limit the damage. You can give up 1 or 2, but those 4 or 5 run innings have just been way too often for a pitching staff that was supposed to be just a little bit better this year. Is the first pitch to Waddell is outside, ball 1.
I think with some components, the HiToms played a very interesting game when bringing players in, of bringing guys in from NAIA and JUCO who have put up a lot of good stats against their competition, and the big question was how they would fare coming in to play more group of 5, power 5 bats that have been getting constant reps at bigger schools.
Yeah, it's a big transition in summer ball because you face the D1 talent you don't see at those JUCO and NIAA schools. It's 2-0 on Waddell. First and second, one out for Wilson. Here's the next pitch. It's on the ground of the shortstop, Chrisman. On to second for 1, on to first, a inning-ending double play, 6-4-3. Chrisman to Fernandez to Jack Spike at first base. And each team hits into a double play, and we move to the second. No score between the Tobs and the HiToms. You're listening to HiToms Baseball on the HiToms Radio Network. Welcome back to Fleming Stadium in Wilson, North Carolina. No score between the Tobs and the HiToms. And it will be the two collegiate teammates facing off It's Brockett against Josh Karen, the righty. Both play at Nebraska. Brockett throws the first pitch by Karen, strike one. So it's 0-1 on Josh Karen. Here comes the 0-1 delivery. It's taken in for a strike on Josh Karen. It's quickly 0-2. So 0-2 on Josh Karen in the top of the second inning. And a must-win game for the HiToms. Here's the 0-2 pitch. It's in the dirt. And blocked nicely by Ilias Stevens. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Karen. Taken on the outside corner, strike three. Karen doesn't like it as he points to the spot where he thought that pitch was, thinking it was outside, but he gets rung up on strikes for the first out of the second inning. Next up for the HiToms is Jack Spike with the bases empty and one out. Jackson Brockett out of the windup, delivers the first pitch to Spike. On the outside part of the plate, strike one. HiToms in their red jerseys with green pants. Red Sox with blue and white stripes. As the 0-1 pitch catches the top of the zone, and it's 0-2. And the first 5 pitch is for Jackson Brockett have all been strikes. Tobs in their white uniforms with white pants. Black socks with yellow stripes. The 0-2 pitch on Jack Spike gets hit on the ground of the shortstop Branson, who scoops it up and fires to first in time to retire Spike. So Brockett's faced the minimum so far as Josh Davis comes to the plate.
Now back for Point-Thomasville, the catcher number 2, Josh Davis.
He is tonight's Highway 55 strikeout victim of the game. If he strikes out, then some lucky fans will go home with a Highway 55 prize.
Here's the first pitch into Josh Davis, taken high and away, ball one. The righty Davis is ready. Here's the delivery. It's by him on a pitch from Jackson Brockett. So it's 1-1 with 2 outs. And the top of the second. No score here at Fleming Stadium. Here's the next pitch. Fastball again is by him. And there's 4 games in the CPL today. But the Blowfish are not playing, so the HiToms can't be officially eliminated from playoff contention yet, win or lose. 1-2 pitch. Just misses the outside corner. It's 2-2. Jackson Brockett working quickly. Back and ready for the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Josh Davis strikes out swing. And Jackson Brockett goes 1-2-3 in the second, including 2 strikeouts. We head into the bottom of the second. No score between the Wilson Tobs and the High Point-Thomasville HiToms in their 3rd meeting of the season. Tobs lead the season series 2-0. We'll be back from Fleming Stadium as you're listening to HiToms Baseball on the HiToms Radio Network. Welcome back to Wilson, North Carolina. Anton Lazitz will be the first up against Merritt Tri, who got out of the bottom of the first with a 6-4-3 double play ball. Faced 4 hitters in the first inning. Lazitz, first pitch is taken high from Dry, ball 1. It's a Sunday with a little bit of wind and pretty warm temperatures, going to be around mid to high 70s nearly the entire evening. As the 1-0 pitch misses away outside, it's 2-0. So that went to the backstop. There's just a little bit of a wall behind home plate extending to both dugouts, but then it's a lot of net. So if you throw a pitch and it bounces and goes into the net, it's most likely going to die. It's not going to come back hard off the backstop. Here's the 2-0 pitch to Lazitz. It's taken inside. It's 3-0. On Anton Lazitz. Dry's pitch. Low and inside. It's a 4-pitch walk.
Stepping in the box next to the Tobs from Eastern Kentucky University, number 18,
Colby Ott from Eastern Kentucky is next in the line for Wilson with Lazitz on first base. First pitch and Ott squares around a bunt, pulls it back, takes the pitch high. It's 1-0 as Fisher came charging in from his third base position.
If you get your raffle coming around with Leia, make sure you grab it. The Wicked prize pack and cash.
1-0 on Ott. Squares around a bunt. This time lays it down the third base line, but it's way foul. Looked like initially he was trying to straighten it out. But had it too much angled near the Tobs dugout, and that's where the ball ends up going. Interestingly, is the dugouts are quite a few steps down, so it's pretty difficult to see the game if you're in the dugouts. So they're either at the top of the dugout, all the players, or on the benches to the sides of them. Another bunt attempt is fouled back by Ott. Caught the bottom of the bat and went to the backstop. So it's 1-2, and we'll see if Colby Ott tries to bunt again in a 2-strike count, though. The leadoff runner, Anton Lazitz, walked on 4 pitches. And the Tobs trying to get the first run as the 1-2 pitch is swung on and fouled down the third base line by Ott, so he stays alive. Colby Ott faces a 1-2 count on Merritt Dry. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Misses the outside corner. It's 2-2. Two and 2 on Ott. Lazitz takes off for second base. The pitch is a fly ball to right field. Austin Deering is under it, and Lazitz is able to scurry back towards first base. As the ball was in the air for a while, so no chance of getting doubled off, but Ott flies out to the right fielder Deering for the first out. Brings up Josh Hoffman with Lazitz on first base. First pitch to Hoffman, taken for a strike. Josh Davis able to bring that low pitch up towards the zone. And it's 0-1 on Hoffman with 1 out. Here's the pitch. It's on the ground and snagged by Merritt Dry, who throws to second for one on the first. Not in time, but what a terrific play by Merritt Dry on a hard comebacker off a hop. He gets to his knees and makes the throw over to Andrew Fernandez at second, and they get the lead runner Lazitz. A terrific recovery from Merritt Dry on a pitch hit right back at him, and that will bring Eric Owen up to the mound. And he will check on his pitcher Dry, who's staying in the game. Is that went 1-4 at the fielder's choice. Andrew Branson's now up with 2 outs, and Hoffman on first base. Tobs fit into 2 fielder's choices today and also hit into a double play. First pitch in to Branson. It's a strike on the inside corner. The righty Branson plays at Pittsburgh State and faces the 0-1 pitch. Runner takes off. Throw down to second is not going to be in time. It was dropped by Fernandez either way, but Hoffman beat the throw from Davis, which was a little bit high to Fernandez. I think it would need to be a really fantastic throw to have a chance to get Hoffman, who had a great jump off first base. And the second stolen bag for the Tobs puts another runner in scoring position, looking to break the tie at 0-0. That pitch is floated into left field. It's going to get down. It's going to be hit for Branson. They're going to throw to the plate. The throw to the plate. It's not going to be in time, as Josh Davis was not able to tag Josh Hoffman, who scored on a blooper single to left field. And not only that, Branson advances to second base on the throw from Rowan Watt out and left. An RBI single by Branson, and it's 1-0 Tobs.
Now batting for the Tobs from Indiana State University, number 5, Seth Gurgley.
Seth Gurgley is up next. And another runner in scoring position for Branson. So the HiToms try to get the out at home, and it burns them because Branson takes extra base and now will take third base, as that pitch was way off the mark from Dry inside into the backstop. So going to third is Andrew Branson. The Tobs have struck first here in the bottom of the second on an RBI single from Andrew Branson, and he's 90 feet away from the Tobs scoring 2 in this inning with the lefty Gurgley. Here's the pitch. It's outside. It's 2-0. On Gurgley. Here's Dry's delivery. Misses away again. It's 3-0. With 2 outs in the bottom of the second, HiToms looking to just concede the 1 run. But Gurgley in a hitter's count 3-0 pitch. It's taken high and outside for ball 4. And it's runners on the corners with 2 outs for Rafe Parrish, who had a single his first time up in the bottom of the first. It was a ground ball up the middle. I was untouched by either of the HiToms middle infielders. The lefty Parrish with Gurgley on first base. It's taken low. It's 1-0. And Branson on third. One and 0 on Parrish. The pitch misses outside, and it's 2-0 with 2 outs. Runners on the corners. Dry trying to avoid more trouble here. HiToms have been prone to giving up some pretty big innings this year. 2-0 pitch. Gurgley takes off. Pitches outside. Throw down to second. Not going to be in time. And now coming home and scoring is Andrew Branson. As Josh Davis, a risky play to throw to second to try to get Gurgley out to end the inning. The throw was not in time. Chrisman tried to throw back to Davis at home plate, but Branson took off from third, and it's a 2-0 Tobs lead. Make that 4 stolen bases for the Tobs now, as they execute the runners on the corners, where the runner takes off from first, make the catcher throw down, and the Tobs runner, Branson, takes off from third and scores. 3-0 pitch, it's high, and Parrish is on for the second time, this time with a walk, and it's first and second, 2 outs, 2 are already home in the inning for the Tobs. Scott Makowitz, who went into a fielder's choice 4-6 last time, is up. Here's the first pitch. It's hit out into center field. Kane Kepley is under it, slides to his right, and makes the catch to retire the side. But the Tobs score 2 runs in the inning. An RBI single from Andrew Branson, who comes in to score as the HiToms throw towards second base, and he takes home from third. 2-0 Wilson leads High Point Thomasville as we head into the third. You're listening to HiToms Baseball on the HiToms Radio Network. Rowan Watt will lead off the third for the HiToms after the Tobs broke open the scoring, scoring 2 in the bottom of the second inning. Brockett's first pitch into Watt. It's fouled off and out of play. So it starts 0-1 on Rowan Watt, with Jackson Brockett being extremely efficient so far. So they're on 23 pitches, 15 have been strikes, make that 16. As the next pitch by Watt, fouled off down the first base line. Next pitch into Watt, misses for a ball. It's 1-2. One and two on Rowan Watt. Here's the pitch. Out ahead of a breaking ball. Strike 3. Elias Stevens drops it, but Rowan Watt already walking back to the dugout, and it's called out. So it doesn't make the jog down to first on drop, third strike, and Rowan Watt strikes out swinging. Was badly fooled on a breaking ball way out ahead on the delivery from Brockett. Garrett Fisher's up next for the Tommies. From Northern Colorado in his 4th game for the HiToms. Takes the first one outside, ball 1. Here's the next delivery in. It's on the inside corner for a strike. So it's 1-1 on Fisher. Takes a hack at that pitch and fouls it into the concourse area here in Wilson, North Carolina. There's no concourse area behind the press box, but it's to the right and left of the stands here in Wilson. 1-2 pitch. It's way low, but Fisher gets a piece of it and hits it down the third base line. Enough to stay alive. One and two on Fisher with one out. Top of the third. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike three. And it's 3 straight strikeouts dating back to last inning for Jackson Brockett. His 4th of the game. Here's Nate Chrisman. Brockett's first delivery for him. Just misses the outside corner, ball 1. So it's 1-0 on Chrisman. Here's the pitch. Catches the inside upper part of the zone. It's 1-1 with 2 outs. One and one on Chrisman. Jackson Brockett's lefty delivery is hit on the ground. Rafe Parrish trying to cut it off, and he does throw on a first. Gets him in time, so Rafe Parrish, a nice play going to his left, throwing across his body for the 3rd out, and it's another 1-2-3 inning for Jackson Brockett, who is sent down 7 in a row. And we head into the bottom of the 3rd. Wilson still leads. It's 2-0. You're listening to HiToms Baseball on the HiToms Radio Network. Ilya Stevens begins the bottom of the 3rd for Wilson against Merritt Dry, who allowed 2 in the last inning. And a Wilson Tobs team that is very well rounded. That's why they're in the hunt in the second half for a playoff spot. 2 games behind the Pilots coming in. The Pilots are trailing the Marlins in the East Division, but the Marlins won the first half in the East Division, so they already clinched a spot. It's 0-1, and that pitch is hit out into right field. Austin Deering charging onto it, and he makes the running catch for the 1st out.
Digging in next for the Tobs from Barton College, number 20, Chase Waddell.
Chase Waddell is up next with the 1 out. 2-0 Wilson. First pitch. Misses the zone. Ball 1 outside. One 0 pitch. Misses low. It's 2-0. Two 0 pitch to Waddell. In for a strike. Big pitch to get back in the count. It's 2-1 with 1 out. Dry's walked 4 in this game. For the HiToms, looking to clean that up. Trying to go deeper into this ballgame. The 2-1 pitch was a breaking ball that was way short. Didn't look like he extended his arm enough. Pretty funky delivery. And it misses way short. It's 3-1. Three and one on Waddell. Here's the pitch. It's on the ground of the second baseman, Fernandez, who scoops it up and fires to first. And there's 2 down in the inning.
Now batting for the Tobs from Columbia University, number 22, Anton Lassett.
Here's Lazitz, the 5th hitter in the Tobs order. He walked his first time up. Here's the first pitch. It's in the dirt. Ball 1. Here's the next pitch in. It's a strike. It's 1-1 on Lazitz. The 1-1 pitch is outside. It's 2-1 with 2 outs on Anton Lazitz. Two-one delivery from Dry. Misses in the dirt. It's 3-1. And Dry's been a lot of 3-ball counts today. Dry hangs his arm out of the stretch and will now come set. And the 3-1 pitch is outside, ball 4. And that's the 5th walk surrendered by Merritt Dry. And Lazitz has walked twice today now. Colby Ott, who flew out to right field his first time up. The right-handed batter will face the righty Merritt Dry, who's thrown 50 pitches, 30 have been balls. So 60% pitches out of the zone. Here's the first pitch. Lazitz takes off, pitches outside. Davis couldn't get a handle on the ball. And another stolen base for the Tobs. That's their 5th of the game already in the 3rd inning. So the Tobs have scored 2 runs. Both came last inning. An RBI single from Andrew Branson. And then Seth Gergelli coming home on a throw towards second base for the HiToms. Here's the 1-0 pitch. It's on the ground of the second baseman, Fernandez. Throws on to first to retire the side. So the HiToms strand the runner at second. They still trail by 2 as we head to the 4th. You're listening to HiToms Baseball on the HiToms Radio Network.
Jackson Brockett has 3 scoreless innings in the books. Makes to look at 4 as we welcome you back to Fleming Stadium here in Wilson, North Carolina. It's the top of the order for the HBT HiToms as Kane Kepley, Andrew Fernandez, and Austin Deering all due up to the dish. So far, the HiToms hitless up to this point and have only had 1 base runner. It was Andrew Fernandez, who walked back in the first inning. So not a lot of success against the Nebraska product in Brockett. Lefty-lefty matchup here. Kepley in the box, ready to go. Check swing, first one, catches it just foul.
And after Austin Deering got aboard, or rather Andrew Fernandez got aboard in the first inning, Austin Deering ends up lining into a double play. So
very unfortunate one, as it was a rocket off the bat of Deering. Here comes the second pitch. Elevated fastball gets a swing and a miss out of Kane Kepley. So no balls and 2 strikes to start the top of the 4th. Tobs leading it 2-0 after 2 runs came in the bottom of the second inning. The 0-2 on the way down to the dirt. So it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count on the 2023 CPL All-Star, Kane Kepley. Brockett, high leg kick and delivers. Just misses on the bottom part of the zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Pretty big wind gust blowing through behind us, probably the biggest of the day. Here comes the 2-2. Kepley pops this one up into the air down the third base side, but out of play.
And Brockett's been on point with his deliveries. He has not left anything over the middle of the plate this entire game. He's been dotting the corners, and it makes it really difficult as a hitter. Even to take a 2-strike pitch a couple inches below the zone, it's tough.
If there's anybody who's going to do it, it's going to be Kane Kepley, one of the best eyes on the team. Breaking ball just inside.
Yeah, that's 2 takes in a row that would get a lot of swings out of a lot of CPL hitters.
So now the count was no balls and 2 strikes. Now it's full. The 3-2 on the way, spiked in the dirt. Leadoff man is on for the HiToms.
Absolutely terrific at bat. Best of the day easily for the HiToms.
Kane Kepley continuing to show us what he does best, as uses the eye to his advantage there to stroll on down 90 feet to first. So it's now Andrew Fernandez, who is the only other base runner the HiToms had today. The switch hitter continuing to settle in from the right side. So the lefty Brockett set to the belt. First pitch into Fernandez is a fastball blown by him. So an 0-1 count to get things started on Andrew Fernandez at a UT Martin. Kane Kepley, 2.5-step lead off first. Brockett gives a long look over to him, now flips his head towards home and misses with a fastball high and out.
Yeah, and with Wilson being super aggressive on the diamond, I expect Kane Kepley to be going during this at-bat.
I would not be surprised if he takes off here. Typically, it's after the first throwdown that the HiToms get ready to go. Kepley stays put. This time, another fastball put by Fernandez. Caught a piece of it this time, however, finishes up in the mid of Stevens. So a 1-2 count. Austin Deering awaiting in the on-deck circle. Quick throw back over to Kane Kepley. He's back in safely, no tag applied. It was a tough job for Lazis to even get a glove on that, let alone tag Kepley. Next pitch on the way. Misses low, so a 2-2 count on Fernandez now. Kane Kepley still over at first base. Wilson Tobs leading the HBT HiToms 2-0 here in the top of the 4th. 1 man on, nobody out. In comes the 2-2. Sent this one the opposite way out towards the gap, but looks to be playable for the center fielder. Makowitz has it. Retreating back to first is Kane Kepley, and there's 1 away.
And that was not an easy catch, and off the bat it looked like Fernandez hit it quite a long way, but Makowitz had a great jump and made it. It was a pretty easy catch out in right center field.
Yeah, if that ball is just a little bit down on the launch angle, that one's driven to the wall in Power Alley. However, a bit too far under it for Fernandez. So a fly out to center. Records the first out of the inning. Here's Austin Deering. Watches one fly high and tight. So Deering, you told me a couple weeks ago By the end of the CPL season, he wants to lead the league in doubles and have the highest batting average. Right now, he sits in the top 3 of batting average and leads the CPL in doubles with 12. Takes a fastball there on the inside corner for strike 1. So an even count. Sticks on the scoreboard. Delivers. Just misses outside. Brockett didn't miss too much on that one.
He has not missed badly when he's missed out of the zone in this game at all.
He has not. Nothing's really gotten 2 balls outside of the zone any direction. Here comes the 2-1. Big swing and a foul tip from Deering as it stays right next to home plate. So now a 2-ball and 2-strike count with 1 away and a runner on first. Josh Caron hoping to get vengeance on his teammate as he stands in the on-deck circle. Deering swing and a miss on an off-speed that worked away from him. A very nice pitch from Jackson Brockett to get the second out of the inning.
Yeah, the movement down in the zone, it looked in the zone the entire time until it dropped fully out.
It has so much east to west movement on it in that final third. It's so hard to pick up, even if you feel like you've got a beat on it. So here's Josh Caron. Right-handed bat, struck out looking. His first time up to his college teammate as Brockett misses just on the outside edge for ball 1. Look back over to Kempley at first. Now fires home. And it's off the protective netting behind home. 1-1 count.
And Caron already in a better start than last at-bat where he struck out on 3 pitches. And Brockett's throwing a lot of first pitch strikes in this game.
Deep breath and an off speed. It's a high chopper. Over to Parrish at third, touches the infield grass, throws over to first, and it's in time. Gloved by Lazitz for the third out of the inning. HiToms strand 1 as the Tobs still lead it 2-0. We're heading into the bottom of the 4th. When we come back, you're listening to HiTom Radio. Merritt Dry back out on the mound for the HPT HiToms as he will have to face the middle part of this order, or the bottom part rather, as it'll be the 7, 8, 9 hitters. First up is the left fielder in Josh Hoffman. Reached on a fielder's choice his first time up and gives a swing and a foul tip on the first offering for Merritt Dry. So Dry was able to have a conversation with him down in the dugout. He was saying, feeling pretty good on the mound. However, every once in a while, it feels like his body can get just out of position and not necessarily derail an at-bat, however, make it a little bit tougher to try and work back into it. So told me he was going to work on some adjustments in between innings, as this one's lined through the 5-6 gap into left field. It'll be a base hit for Josh Hoffman. As Fisher nor Chrisman really even had a chance at that, it was a hot shot past the third baseman and shortstop.
Yeah, and the Tobs have hit some balls hard today. We saw that the last time these two teams played. The Tobs had 2 5-run innings, if you remember correctly, David, and that was big in that game. Just put it away.
That really was, and you have 1 5-run inning, so what? Let's try and get it back. But when you have 2 or 3, it ends up numbers multiply quickly. Runner goes on the first pitch inside. It was a big swing, and it looked.
That hit him, too. That hit him right in the face.
It looked like it hit him high in the shoulder or maybe on the neck or the chin. As Andrew Branson going to be checked out from the trainer. He is up and walking.
I mean, that tipped off the bat first, but then, man, that looked like to go nearly directly into his face.
It did.
Maybe below it.
And
but
I couldn't tell if it was a pitch that was high and that he was fooled on and then swung through, or if it was a foul tip that then came right back up at him because of the awkward angle. Either way, he's having a chat with our home plate umpire as well as Tom's athletic trainer. Now the third base coach going to come down and have a word with him as well.
I think it is his neck, David, because
that's what it looks like.
That's what I really thought that hit his face. That would have been absolutely disastrous.
Thank goodness it was not. As he's putting on the left elbow guard. Seems pretty lively in the conversation. And so it's always a tough scenario. Normally when you get hit by a baseball, you're thinking, well, I'll live through the pain to advance down to first. But in this kind of a scenario, when you end up going around and getting hit at the same swing, it's just a big strike. Big, painful strike.
Yeah, it was up and in, so. And sometimes you don't want to swing the bat, but you feel like your hands like make you swing it when it's high and inside. Only really in that scenario.
So because of the way that he kind of check swing, it left his entire chest in front of the body wide open to Merritt Dry's fastball. 0-1 count. Dry going to check the runner. Quick throwback to Spike at first. Everybody's safe.
And actually, Hoffman took off on that play, so that was foul tipped, if I remember correctly.
And that would make sense.
Yeah.
Good observation, Adam. So Hoffman back over at first. Dry now delivers home, and it misses high and outside.
And how about trying a bunt for Branson after getting hit? Might
no
as well
fear.
Get closer to the ball.
1-1 count. Hoffman, big jump over at first, does not go. Called strike across the plate for Merritt Dry on Branson. Has the only RBI so far in this game, as it was a single back in the bottom of the second. Ended up scoring the first run. Second run came in on a loose ball. So that's how Wilson leads it 2-0. Nobody out with a runner on first here, looking to do damage with the bottom part of the order. Branson holds off there. So now the count moves to 2-2. Almost a closed batting stance for Branson. Settled in the back of the box. Dry delivers. It's an off-speed outside. It gets a swing and a miss. So Merritt Dry picks up his first out via the strikeout. And he'll now face the bottom of the order with Seth Gurgley.
And Wilson doesn't really miss in the zone, but gets Branson to chase away out of the zone and picks up his first strikeout of the game.
And believe it or not, it is the first strikeout for Tobs, or excuse me, for HiToms pitching. So Dry with a very short set and then a fire back over to first. Wanted to check on Hoffman one more time. Dry has a very unique stretch position, winds the legs and then dips that right arm down and touches the dirt before coming set. Another quick pick back over to first. Gelly A walk. Hoping to do some damage here in the bottom of the order. Swing and a chopper. Playable, but just out of the reach in foul territory of Fisher. As Garrett was making haste into foul territory. If he was going to make that play, it was going to have to be a back corner of the end zone touchdown type of catch.
Yeah, he was just sprinting straight diagonal. I guess that's the way to run instead of backpedal, but because you got to sprint to the ball first and then put your glove up.
It would have been a phenomenal over-the-shoulder catch if he would have completed it, but just a step out of his reach. So Fisher getting back to his position. We're ready to get going again. 0-1 count. Hoffman off to the races. Josh Davis, the throw down. One hop. It hits Hoffman. It was in time. It looked like Crispin couldn't glove it as it pegs Hoffman in the back. Stays on second. Stolen back for the Tobs.
Yeah, that was a really good set from Dry to hold on Hoffman. And the throw from Josh Davis just took that one hop.
Crispin was able to glove it. It would have been very close. However, unable to, so it's a stolen bag for Josh Hoffman. A runner in scoring position with one out for the Tobs. 0-2 on the way, fouled off out of play. This crowd keeps getting bigger and bigger as this game goes on, as people are sprinkling in throughout this one. This crowd's probably grown about a third since the start of the game. Dry, he'll take a quick step back off the rubber towards second. Did a little hop off the rubber too, and kind of see some fans were wondering if that would be a balk or not. So Dry, a long hold here. Stays down in the stretch position for a couple seconds. Works his way back up. Now comes set at the belt. Misses outside. So Rafe Parrish, he's reached both times. He's standing on deck. One via a walk and one via a single. Dry leading the count here, 1-2. Works home. This ball is pulled down the right field line, but playable for Austin Deering. He comes over glove side to make the catch. The throw into second. Hoffman stays put. So there's now two away. As Merritt Dry able to sit down the 8-9 hitters in order.
Yeah, and Branson, or rather Hoffman, had a chance to tag at second base, but was far off the bag, hoping that ball would drop, and no reason to risk a tag from third base against the arm of Austin Deering.
So a very dangerous batter here in Rafe Parrish. Had a field day when he was at Finch Field just a week ago. So far today, a hit and a walk. Takes the first one outside. So a ball and no strikes on Parrish. Outfield playing fairly deep everywhere at the moment. Playing some prevent defense. Another one misses outside, this time a breaking ball from Dry. So no doubles and no balls in the gap, right, Adam?
Oh, absolutely. And with Rafe Parrish, he can hit the ball all over the place, and has already reached twice today.
Third time through the order. Now here in the bottom of the fourth. 3-0 count now as Dry misses inside to the left-handed bat of Parrish. The center fielder, Scott Makowitz, in the on-deck circle. 0 for 2 today. The 3-0 outside, 4-pitch walk to Rafe Parrish. As Merritt Dry just seemed to be dancing around the hot bat.
Yeah, it seemed like very similar to the second at-bat. And they know who's hot in this lineup. And Rafe Parrish, who plays at Lehigh, hits well above 300 2 straight years. And for the Tobs, he's hitting over 300 as well this summer.
So 2 of those pitches missed outside of the left-handed bat, 2 missed inside of the 4-pitch walk. There are now runners on first and second base with 2 outs. This one misses everything, including the glove of Josh Davis, goes all the way to the backstop. Both runners will move up to second and third, respectively. So Dry just looked to lose control of that baseball entirely on the first one into Scott Makowitz.
It's happened a couple of times. Now you're down field level and that ball bounced way short of the plate. That one, it looked like it completely slipped out of his hand.
Definitely some humid conditions down there on the field. Could be playing a factor. Inside the 1-0. And that one catches the top part of the strike zone. So Merritt Dry, nice comeback pitch there to get himself in the count, 1-1. A skipper down in the dirt, plugged up by Josh Davis. So 2 balls and a strike. Josh Hoffman standing on third base. Rafe Parrish on second. It feels crucial right now for the HiToms to leave these 2 runners stranded. Here comes the 2-1, way too far inside at the knees.
For sure, because the offense has been cold so far against Jackson Brockett. Still yet to allow a hit.
So Brockett's been cruising against what has been a tough HiToms lineup, usually night in and night out when it comes to hitting. Here comes the 3-1. It's ball 4. Down and away. Merritt Dry misses and now has the bases loaded.
And that's now the 7th walk. It's tough to win like that. Merritt Dry really hasn't given up a lot of really hard contact, but the walks could come back to haunt him here.
So we'll have an infield meeting here. Andrew Fernandez and Jack Spike, second and first baseman, coming to convene to have a chat with Merritt Dry. And a delayed walkout, but one nonetheless from Eric Owen, as the pitching coach for the HiToms will make one of the longer trots we've had this year from the dugout to home plate, as the dugouts are pretty far removed from the field.
Yeah, I was trying to explain them earlier. It's a lot easier when you're here to just look at them.
Most definitely. So I feel like, because I've been down in there, it's almost, you've got benches on both sides, and then you have a well like a traditional dugout, probably half the size of a normal dugout, all surrounded in concrete, and it has benches all on the inside on all sides. So it's one of the more unique setups.
Yeah, and if a player is buried in there, they probably can't see too well. So HiToms players are on the benches.
And when there's guys on the field, there's looks like 4 Tommies hanging out in the dugout and only 2 of them on the bench in the dugouts. The rest are down in the bullpen. But summer coming to an end. Guys getting ready to head back to school. As Merritt Dry, first pitch to the new batter, and Ilias Stevens high and inside. Righty-righty matchup here. Still 2 outs in the inning. Bases are juiced. And another one misses inside. It was a breaking ball this time, trying to work its way back onto the plate, but to no avail. Dangerous 2-0 count here. Stevens has flown out to right and walked so far. And now taking another one inside at the shins, has himself in a 3-0 count. And there's nowhere to put him. Tobs with the bases loaded, leading 2-0 here in the bottom of the 4th. Auto take, and it's ball 4. A 4-pitch walk issued to Ilias Stevens will drive in a run. It's now 3-0 Tobs.
And I think we're nearing the end of Dry's day here with the 3 straight walks.
And still nobody up and throwing in the bullpen right now for the HiToms. So now starting to see a little bit more movement down there, as a couple of them has sprung up off the bench in the bullpen, as it looks like the right-handed arm of Will Sword is getting ready to start warming up. Meanwhile, back on the diamond, Merritt Dry misses just outside to our new batter in Chase Waddell. Grounded into a double play and grounded out to Andrew Fernandez at second base so far in this one. Dry delivers on the 1-0, finally finds himself a strike there. Hopefully that'll boost the confidence a little bit here for Merritt Dry. Still 2 outs. The bases are still loaded. Tobs have brought across one here in the bottom of the 4th thanks to a walk. This one put into play right back up the middle. No Tommies were fielding off on second base. 2 runs are going to come in to score. Kane Kepley will hold it and fire into second. 5-0 Tobs. Chase Waddell, a 2 RBI single as he split the defense right back up the middle.
Yeah, the Tobs are hitting it real well and seeing it off Dry now through the 3rd time through the lineup. Like you mentioned with Dry, not a star coming in on this season, and that's part of the difficulty going from the bullpen to a starter. Because that 3rd time through the lineup, the numbers skyrocket for hitters.
It does, and when Dry hasn't been able to find the zone particularly well here in the last 2 frames, it's been tough. Runners are on the corners now for the Tobs, as it's Anton Lazitz. 2 walks so far in this one. Hasn't had to take the barrel off the shoulder. Starts things off in a 1-0 count here. Dry sends one in, and it catches the outer half of the plate for a cold strike. So a ball and a strike. Lights are starting to turn on here at Fleming Stadium. The sun setting behind us is Dry and off speed outside. 2 balls and 1 strike now on Lazitz. And it will be Will Sword warming up in the bullpen officially now, as he's down there throwing with Noah Hill. Lazitz beat on a fastball there as he waves by one issued from Dry. Looked to be pretty middle from here, but Dry pours one in, attacks the zone, and it comes out favorable for him. 2-2 count. Goes down, golfs it, a 1-hop over to the shortstop position. Chrisman not in time over to first base. Another one comes in to score, as that ball was really down and in. Lazitz pulls out the golf swing, and with how deep Chrisman was playing at the in the shortstop hole, he was a couple steps on the outfield grass, and the throw off his back foot was not going to get there in time to jack Spike at first. Still a close play.
I'm really surprised that Chrisman didn't try to go to second, because that was a long throw towards first base. It ended up being a close play, but I thought the option would have been a shorter route to get Waddell at second.
First pitch is skied out to right. Deering has a beat on it and has it in his glove. Catching it glove side as Colby Ott has 1 pitch and a very deep fly out to right field. Tobs score looks to be 3 more here, as it's 6-0. 4 runs come across in the bottom of the 4th for the Wilson Tobs. We'll see if the Tommies can get their first run of the game when we come back at the top of the 5th. You're listening to High Tom Radio. It'll be the 5, 6, 7 hitters up for the HiToms as Jack Spike steps in for the right side and takes one just outside for ball 1. Out of the hand of Jackson Brockett. Another one missing for Brockett here, so Spike now leading the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Big swing and a miss and an elevated fastball from Jack Spike. He was looking to get the Tommies on the board with 1 swing right there. Instead, it's 2-1. Brockett working at a quick pace. Back to Spike, same pitch, same spot. Spike still can't find it. Back-to-back strikes as Jack Spike now in a 2-2 count against Jackson Brockett. Josh Davis awaiting on deck. The pitch. Spike sends this one the opposite way, high into the air. Out towards right, just in front of the warning track is Gergely to make the catch. So Spike got a hold of that one opposite field, but it just wasn't enough to get out.
And not only have the HiToms not had a hit in this game, they haven't hit any that have been, great defensive plays from the Tobs. They've been mostly routine plays.
Davis watches one miss just off the upper outside corner. Again, that one didn't miss by too much. Josh Davis is the first of 3 back-to-back-to-back strikeout victims. Pulls this one down the line in left field. It's going to get down for a base hit. 1 hop in front of the warning track. Josh Davis looking to go for 2. The relay into second. Not in time. Davis sliding in for a double.
Great hustle out of the box from Josh Davis. You could tell he was thinking, too, after he turned around first base real quickly. The Tobs probably expected that just to be a single, so they cut the ball off instead of a direct throw to the second baseman. Branson cuts it off and then has to deliver to Ott, and it's a split second too late.
Yeah, and Hoffman wasn't the strongest of throws either. Hoffman kind of went towards the cutoff instead of beaming it to second. So like you had said, just that split second of delay between the relay has Davis safe out on second. It's now Rowan Watt. Cold strike by him on the first pitch. It's the first hit of the game for the HiToms. Josh Davis. Parrish double takes, now looks towards home, fires in. It's down at the shins of Rowan Watt. A ball and a strike. Six 0 the Wilson Tobs lead. They poured 4 on in the bottom of the 4th. Watt stares in at off speed. Called a ball.
And that's the difference between the first and the second at-bat from Rowan Watt. He was way out ahead in his last plate appearance when he struck out swing of a breaking ball. That time he reads it, and it drops low.
So 2 balls and 1 strike. Sets at the belt. Watt late on a fastball as it's sent into the grandstands. Nice beer garden as well down the first base line here. It's completely packed out. It's like there's about 10 to 15 tables with umbrellas over there, as well as some seating area along the rail to watch the game. And it's packed out. Watt swings at a high fastball, and that one came charging in towards the HiToms dugout. Eric Owen jumped in front of, looks like Dan McCarty, to try and save him.
Yeah. Nate Chrisman was also right there in the area.
Well, there's a hot shot. Keep your heads up, boys. 2-2 count. Brockett inside. He's going to have to throw another one into Rowan Watt. Sends that one over the stands and out of play.
Are you sure? If not, call Will Darcy with Farm Bureau Insurance for all your insurance needs. Are you?
So 6-0. Wilson Tobs currently leading it. 6 runs off 5 hits. So far, the HiToms has Josh Davis out on second with the first hit of the game. High and outside rolls that breaking ball, so Rowan Watt has worked the count full. Much more patient at bat for Watt, and it's paying off up to this point. Long set. The nod into Stevens. Too far inside. Rowan Watt trots on down to first base. So with one out, there are now runners on first and second. We're going to have a mound meeting.
It's an important spot for the HiToms here. And the first trouble Brockett's been in at all this game.
And Brockett, for the most part, still stayed kind of by that rule. When he was missing, he wasn't missing more than maybe a ball and a half, 2 balls outside at the most. But Rowan Watt just put together a fantastic at-bat right there. Swung at the pitches he needed to, took the pitches that he was confident with, has himself a walk.
Rowan Watt's plate discipline this summer has just continued to get better, and that's why he's hitting over 300. Part of it is he's laying off the pitches outside the zone. Now, you don't hit 300 by chasing pitches.
No, not at all. And so Josh Davis, Rowan Watt, Garrett Fisher, all struck out their first time up. So far, that order has gone double walk, and now Fisher has himself ahead at a 1-0 count. So that one missed down and in. Fisher's had some big at-bats so far. He hasn't played too many games for the HiToms. He's one of the fresh faces to help close out the season. Takes a ball in the outer half there for a cold strike. Josh Davis at second, Rowan Watt at first. One away in the inning. This one hit high into the air from Fisher out towards center. It'll be playable. Makowitz camping under it. Josh Davis tagging up from third. Nope, he'll head back to the bag at second. Wasn't deep enough for the catcher to give it a run.
Yeah, it's 405 out to center field here at Fleming Stadium, but it seems even further than that.
It feels much further with how big the gaps are here.
That could be exactly why, David. Because Scott Makowitz is playing way away from the wall in center field. Feels like it has like MLB dimensions here, especially to the gaps.
Most definitely. I mean, that 405, we're sitting at about 150 feet above sea level. This one's ripped right into the glove. A leaping grab up into the air by the second baseman, Ott. A fantastic play to rob Nathan Chrisman. He hit a bullet out towards the second baseman position. Skill on skill, and a defender wins there. HiToms strand 2, still don't have any runs on the board. It's 6-0 as they look to limit the damage when we come back for the bottom of the 5th here from Fleming Stadium as you're listening to HiTom Radio. So it'll be Josh Hoffman to lead things off here as Will Sword. First pitch is a grounder over to Fisher. Long throw to first, able to make it in time. So one pitch and one out as Josh Hoffman goes 5-3.
And the HiToms make a change on the mound as well with Will Sword.
Ladies and gentlemen, attention please. Now pitching for Point-Thomasville, 13, Will Sword.
And Will Sword leads the team in appearances. And not surprising to see him in this spot with the limited number of pitchers the HiToms have.
Not at all, as he's a guy who so far this season has been able to go a solid 2 or 3 innings for the HiToms, and for the most part, apart from a little blunder towards the beginning of the year, Will Sword has been one of the most reliable arms out of the pen for the Tommies. 0-1 count, turns to 0-2, a nicely located off-speed on the inside part of the plate to Andrew Branson.
Yeah, Sword leads the team with now 16 appearances, and second is Merritt Dry with 11. And 12th after today.
High pop-up into foul territory. Jack Spike giving chase down the first base side. Makes a hook shape and still can't get to it as it's about 5 or 6 feet out of his reach. It'll bounce out of play. Turn it to a souvenir.
Yeah, and Sword, like you mentioned, he struggled at the beginning of the season. Middle of the season, he was great. The second to last time out, he went 4 1/3 scoreless against the Mustangs, which was his best appearance of the year. Then faces the Mustangs and gives up 4 in 3 innings. But of course, you know, that's facing the same team, which Sword has done a number of times.
Yeah, it's always tough for some of these pitchers, especially if guys have your number one of the first times you see them, and then you got to play them 8 or 10 more times throughout the year. It'd be a tough spot for some of these pitchers. The 0-2 is ripped into left field. Turned on it, and it's a base hit for Andrew Branson. As really all Fisher down at third base could do is just watch that puppy fly by.
Yeah, and Sword had an appearance against the Tobs on June 9th. He went 1/3 of an inning and allowed 4 earned runs. But the thing about this Tobs lineup is, like the HiToms, it's way different than when they played their first game back in June, early June.
Sword just gave that one a little bit too much plate on an 0-2 count to Andrew Branson. He's got his second hit of the game. It's now a runner on first with 1 away for Seth Gurgley. Walk and a fly out to right. Sword a lackadaisical throw back over to first. No tag applied from Jack Spike. Branson with that sliding mitt on his right arm. Wiggles it around, and Sword noticed it. Decides to take another peek back to first. So still a 1-0 count on the lefty. That one, Seth catches a piece of the end cap, sends it foul. So 1 ball and 1 strike on the 9-hole hitter for the Tobs. Rafe Parrish awaits the on-deck circle for his 4th at-bat in 5 innings. Unless the HiToms can turn a double play here, they're going to have to see him. Yelly shows bunt and then pulls it back. Drifted too far outside. 2 balls and a strike. Will Sword look over his shoulder back to first. Will go home, way out in front of it, and that was a liner right into the crowd. Hope everybody's okay over there, as that was hit right into a sea of people off the first base line next to the beer garden. And that wall's not very high over there. It's only about 3 or 4 feet, and you're able to sit in a chair to look over it. Looks like everyone's okay over there, thank goodness, because that was a rocket.
Yeah, we just cleared the fence by a couple feet, which is all it takes.
It's right about chest to head level for the people sitting. Swing and a miss on the 2-2. Will Sword picks up a strikeout to record the 2nd out of the inning. So Sword will have to now face the hottest bat in the order for the Tobs. Rafe Parrish ripped a single back in the 1st inning to lead things off. And has since then, Merritt Dry didn't even give him a pitch to hit. 2 walks, both 4 pitch walks. So Parrish hoping he'll get a little bit more out of Will Sword here. First pitch home is taken for a strike, the upper half of the zone.
And the Toms don't have anyone per se in the MVP race, but the lineup consistently has been so good this entire year.
Runner goes, check swing down at the plate, called strike, and the throw down to second, not in time. So stolen bag for Andrew Branson.
Yeah, Parrish was going to swing at that pitch, but saw Branson was stealing, so way to sacrifice yourself for your teammates. He's now down 0-2.
Yeah. If you make contact there, put it in play, maybe chaos happens, but an ugly check swing. Well, Branson recorded a hit on an 0-2 count. We'll see what Rafe can do. Fouls this one off straight back behind home plate. So the count remains 0-2. Got a nice sunset brewing behind the field. Should turn to pretty cotton candy skies here in the next 30 minutes. Sword works on the 0-2. Branson down to third. The throw. Got him! Right in time. Fisher applies the tag on the back. And he is out at third base. There's a lot of appealing from the crowd and the edge of the Tobs dugout. However, it's all said and done. Caught stealing down at third base ends the inning. So the HiToms hold the Tobs scoreless in the bottom of the fifth. See if they can carry that momentum into the top of the sixth and score a few when we come back from Fleming Stadium as you're listening to HiTom Radio. Top of the order back around for the HPT HiToms as they'll roll them out 1-2-3. Kane Kepley pops this one up high in the air into shallow left field. The shortstop, Branson, ranging under it, makes the play in the outfield grass. So similar to the top of the fifth, the HiToms brought in a new pitcher and had one out within one pitch. Same thing goes for the Tobs as Ryan Corbin only needed one to retire Kane Kepley. Adam, what can you tell me about Corbin so far in the CPL season?
Well, this is going to be his 15th appearance. He's pitched a lot for the Tobs, a 3.95 ERA. And the thing I'm looking at, in 13 2/3, 15 strikeouts to just 6 walks.
Delivers into Andrew Fernandez, who's back at the left side of the plate now. It's the righty Corbin delivered one in. Foul tipped for 0-1.
And the whip's been staying right around 1 the entire season, which is absolutely excellent.
has a bit of a wide set and kicks that leg back. Fernandez turns on this one, hit out to center field, right at the placement of Makowitz. Doesn't have to move too much at all. Maybe a step forward to retire Andrew Fernandez. Quickly 2 away.
I don't think I've seen more routine flyouts the entire year than what we've seen at Fleming Stadium, where balls are just hit very hard, but it's just been easy catches.
You think the Tobs play here often?
They know. You know what? The HiToms have been putting the ball in the air a lot. The Tobs have been walking a lot, I guess you could say.
So it's Austin Deering. He's had an unfortunate day so far. Lined out into a double play back in the first inning to end the first. And then struck out his last time up. As Corbin had Deering out in front on a breaking ball. So no balls and a strike on the right fielder. Works back to the plate once again, Deering out in front. No balls and 2 strikes. HiToms only 1 hit in this game so far, and it was a double in the previous inning by Josh Davis. Deering lays off that one. Cold strike 3 on the inside part of the plate. Deering's going to have a couple words with our home plate umpire. That one looked to be a bit inside. However, they have a better vantage point than we do. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Ryan Corbin as he sets down the top of the HiToms order. We'll be right back for the bottom of the 6th inning when we come back from Fleming Stadium on HiTom Radio. Back in here for the bottom of the 6th inning. As for the Wilson Tobs, it will be the top of the order. 1-2-3 set to come up to the plate here in their half of the 6th. Will Sword back out on the mound. Had Rafe Parrish in an 0-2 count in the previous inning. However, the caught stealing as Andrew Branson went into third base. Fisher was able to apply a tag before he can get the hand in. Resets the count for Parrish. Dribbles this one, Jack Spike, 1 hop, able to glove it, and will jog on over to first base for the first out of the inning. He's right down the line and right at Jack Spike.
And I think part of the play in the bottom of the 5th when Branson got thrown out, why the fans were so unhappy, is Josh Davis's throw was high. Fisher went up to grab it and tagged him on his back foot. So usually that means the runner's safe, but it doesn't always mean that.
In the positioning, I think that was maybe what got a little bit confusing, is that the positioning of Fisher, he was pretty far off the third base bag. So a tag on the back foot before the hand could get in there on the bag was very feasible.
Yeah, it's way different than if you're straddling the bag, because then there's no way.
Most definitely, as he was almost still in his normal third stop position when he gloved that, maybe a step to his right. So no 1 count on Scott Makowitz. Make it 1-1 as that one rings too far up. Makowitz reached on a fielder's choice, popped out to shortstop, and most recently walked. Sword flashes the glove up over his head, fires home, and a called strike. Nice location on the outer half. Righty-lefty matchup. It's the righty Sword. Chest facing the batter, now comes set in the motion. High pop-up sent out of play. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 out and nobody on here in the bottom of the 6th inning. David Katzenmeyer and Adam Oppenheim with you from Fleming Stadium. As a check swing down in the dirt on the 1-2, the appeal down to third. Makowitz did not go around. So now 2 balls and 2 strikes on the 2-hole hitter. But the lights starting to illuminate the field just a little bit here. Fastball outside from Sword. So now a full count with Ilya Stevens waiting on deck. Here comes the full count offering. This one's hit well and high into the air, out towards center. Kane Kepley ranging back on it, looks up, and it's off the top of the wall. Heading into third is Makowitz. The throw, not in time. Having to leap up to even keep it in play is Fisher. It's a stand-up triple for the Tobs with 1 out in the inning. Scott Makowitz, 90 feet away.
And a really smart play by Kane Kepley not to try to, scale the wall, because then it would have been inside the park home run. He waits for it to come off the wall, and like we talked about, it's deep in the gaps. So if you get it in the gaps, it's a good chance of it being a triple, and that was one of the easiest triples we've seen the entire year.
Most definitely, and I would argue that that's a home run at a lot of ballparks in the CPL.
Definitely a home run at Finch Field.
Most definitely at Finch Field. So now 1 out. Runner standing on third base for the catcher, Ilya Stevens. A walk, a fly out to right, and then an RBI walk back in the 4th. Helped bring one of the 4 runs across in the bottom of the frame there. Big swing and a miss. Will Sword got him to chase down to the dirt. So Stevens in a 1-1 count. Tobs have 7 hits now compared to the HiToms 1. Borderline called strike. Look to maybe catch the front corner of the plate. So 1-2 count now. Will Sword shakes off a few from Davis, then agrees on the sign. Now works in, goes off speed on a called strike 3. Will Sword picks up another strikeout. The HiToms now in reach of stranding the runner at third.
Ilya Stevens was absolutely fooled on the breaking ball. I think he was sitting fastball, was about to pull the trigger on a fastball, and realized he was not going to be able to hit that breaking ball and just had to let it drop and hoped it went out of the zone.
And it was put in a perfect location from Will Sword to appeal a strike 3 call. So now the cleanup hitter in the DH in Chase Waddell. It's the lefty check swing there. Goes off the chest protector of Josh Davis. Takes an unfortunate bounce. And the run will score from third base. So now 7-0 on a ball that Josh Davis looked to have plugged up, but caught a hard part of the protection.
Yeah, sometimes you can do your best to keep it in front of you, and it's a bit more difficult than it seems.
So an easy trot home from Scott Makowitz makes it 7-0 Tobs. Waddell watches another go by. This one down in the dirt. 2-0 count. Bases are cleared with 2 outs. Tobs pick up another here, now 7-0 in the bottom of the 6th. And Will Sword has fallen behind 3-0.
Yeah, and with the HiToms 5 games back with 4 to go, if they lose this game, they're out of playoff contention. If they win, they need the Blowfish to lose every other game the rest of the season. The HiToms need to win every single game.
And with how the Blowfish have been playing, it seems highly unlikely, and you can look at that on the latter end as well. It'll be ball 4, a 4-pitch walk to Chase Waddell.
And then you add in other teams we talked about at the top, like the Ashboro Zookeepers, who are 10-8.
Let's talk about the run they've gone on recently.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's been impressive.
They brought in a few extra bats, probably 3/4 the way through the season, and I mean that top 5 in the order are all Power 5 bats, and they have been raking. First pitch from Will Sword into Anton Lazitz is down and in.
Yeah, you mentioned it. They've had a lot of turnover in their lineup. They lost a couple of their best hitters, and they've just replaced them with a lot of talent, and the pitching staff has been much better in the second half.
Sword rides this one a little bit higher than the previous pitch. Same location across the plate, but this one a called strike. Sticks on the scoreboard. Sword loops one in, and it's chopped out to center. It'll be a base hit for Anton Lazitz as it'll get down 2 hopping in front of Kane Kepley. Something brewing here with 2 outs. So it'll be Colby Ott, 2 flyouts to right, and then a ground out to short so far. 0 for 3 on the day. And this is a huge run for the Tobs, as represents the 10th run. Sword's got a jam to work out. A fastball first pitch sent out a play down the first base line.
But of course, the HiToms have a chance to hit into the 7th unless
they will.
Unless the Tobs, of course, put up.
They put up 5.
And
we're hoping that won't happen, though.
That would be a disastrous end.
Most definitely. Especially considering that at this point, all of them would have to come on 2 outs. Runners on first and second with 2 away. Check swing. Absolutely went around. and finally we get an appeal. It was delayed, but that was one of those, the body stopped and the hands just whipped on through.
I was thinking Josh Davis just thought the home plate umpire would call it himself.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, he didn't call it. Let me motion down to first base. That was clear as day.
Oh, no, I think the best part was the fans trying to say he didn't. That one misses high on Colby Ott. Ball and 2 strikes. HiToms looking to strand 2. Sword works in, breaking ball. High of the zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tobs with 2 outs had a Chase Waddell walk and then an Anton Lazitz single. Waddell on second, Lazitz on first. 2-2 count. On the way home to Ott. Waves at it, sends it out of play. We'll try it again.
Are you insured? If not, call Vincent Lively with Farm Bureau Insurance for all your insurance needs.
Sort of very long look back to second. Now sends it home. It's a high pop-up into left field. Rowan Watt giving chase, and he has it. 5 feet into fair territory. Rowan Watt records the 3rd out of the inning. HiToms able to strand 2 ducks on the pond, as it is 7-0 heading into the top of the 7th. I'll turn it back over to Adam Oppenheim when we come back from Fleming Stadium. So you're listening to HiTom Radio.
There's a new pitcher on for the Tobs, and it's the left-hander, 6'1", 215, Brett Anderson, who pitches at Barton College and is set to face Josh Karen. First pitch makes his way outside to the righty Karen. HiToms down 7-0 in the top of the 7th, needing a win to stay alive in a playoff race that would take everything to go right for the HiToms and everything to go wrong from pretty much every other team in the West Division, with 4 or 5 games left for each team. It's 1-0 on Karen. The 1-0 pitch, it's skied up into the infield. Colby Ott is calling for it, and he'll make the catch. The top second baseman just on the outfield grass for the first out. The HiToms offense has been limited today, and they've not had a quiet day like this in quite some time, maybe not the entire season, with 1 hit through 6 1/3. The 1 hit came on a Josh Davis double, and that came in the 5th inning. First pitch and jack spike, it's a strike from Brett Anderson. The lefty had 0-1 on spike. The 0-1 pitch, it's hit on the ground to the second baseman, Colby Ott, who backhands it and has plenty of time to throw to first in time. And Spike is retired. So back-to-back plays for Colby Ott, and there's quickly 2 outs in the inning. For Brett Anderson, he has no record but a 2.02 ERA in 11 appearances. He's gone 13 1/3, 16 strikeouts and 12 walks, so about a walk and a strikeout per inning, but only has allowed 6 hits. As Josh Davis takes the first pitch outside, ball 1. Like I mentioned, has the only hit for the HiToms in this game. HiToms down 7-0 to the Tobs, and also being out hit 8-1, no errors for either team. Next pitch into Davis. Catches the middle portion of the plate, and it's 1-1 with 2 outs. HiToms looking for a rally, but need to get some runners aboard. Here's the 1-1 pitch, fouled off and out of play down the first base line. HiToms have walked twice and 1 hit, so they've been aboard 3 times in this game. 1-2 on Josh Davis. Anderson's delivery, swing and a miss, strike 3, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Brett Anderson. Quickly retires the HiToms in order, and we head into the 7th inning stretch. HiToms trail 7-0 as they're on the brink of elimination in the Coastal Plain League. You're tuned into HiToms Baseball on the HiToms Radio Network. Josh Hoffman leads off in the bottom of the 7th. For the Tobs, 7-0, Will Sword is ready for his 3rd inning of relief. Brings it over his head, delivers the pitch. High and inside, ball 1. Here's the pitch. It's popped up on the infield. It's Nate Chrisman calling for it. The High-Times shortstop makes the catch on the infield for the first out. And it brings up Andrew Branson. So 1 down in the inning for Branson. Here's the first pitch into Branson. It's a breaking ball in for a strike. Here's the 0-1 pitch, misses outside, and it's 1-1. Tobs trying to end the game quickly here in 7, scoring 3 more. HiToms looking to give their bats at least 1 more chance, as that's going to get over the head of Garrett Fisher and land down the third base line. Fisher's going to go out into the outfield, and Branson's going to stop at first base with a single, his 3rd single of the game, as it was a little flare that was headed over Garrett Fisher, the High-Times third baseman's head, the entire way, and runs out to the outfield to bring it back in. A ball that was super far away from the High-Times left fielder Rowan Watt. Brings up Seth Gergelli, and he smokes that first pitch to center field on a line right at King Kepley in center field. And a loud second out of the inning. And it brings up Rafe Parrish with 2 outs, who has reached 3 times in this game. Sword takes a look, and it's right through the zone on the inside corner for a strike. Branson's at first base. Sort of look at Branson, and this time he throws over. 2 outs, 0-1 on Rafe Parrish. The lefty has had a great day at the plate. The 0-1 pitch. It's taken outside. It's 1-1. Bottom of the 7th, High-Times trail by 7. One pitch in, just misses low. It's 2-1. It's a game where the High-Times haven't had a lot of chances to even score runs, and being shut out isn't too surprising when all the High-Times have to show for it is 2 walks and a double. 2-1 pitch to Parrish, fouled off behind home plate. Above the stands here at Fleming Stadium. Two and 2 on Rafe Parrish with 2 outs. Branson takes off for second. Parrish just gets a piece of the pitch and goes into the on-deck circle for the Tobs, where Scott Makowitz is waiting. He had a triple his last time up. Two and 2 on Parrish. The next pitch, it's through the right side of the infield between the 3 and 4 hole. It's a base set. So Parrish is aboard for the 4th time today, his 2nd hit. And it brings the winning run to the plate and Scott Makowitz. No chance for Spiker Fernandez to get it. as it was hit hard on the ground through the right side of the infield. First pitch into Makowitz. It's taken a little bit outside. Ball one. With 2 outs, first and second. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Slowing inside on Makowitz. It was 1 for 3 today with a triple. Rather, 1 for 2 with a triple, and he's also drawn a walk. Will Sword steps off the mound as it's 2-0 with 2 outs. Sword takes a look at Branson. The 2-0 pitch. Just misses below the zone. Great eye from Makowitz. And he's ahead 3-0. And we'll see how aggressive the Tobs center fielder would be here. Ahead in the count 3-0. It's way inside. Doesn't get a chance to swing, and it's a 4-pitch walk, and the bases are loaded. And the winning run is now on first base, and Scott Makowitz. And Eric Owens going to make the walk out to the mound. Looks like it's Brady Garcia for the HiToms warming up in the bullpen. Seven 0 Tobs, bottom 7. It's a 10-run limit in the Coastal Plain League. And right now, that means the winning run's on first base. Andrew Branson's on third base. Ray Parrish is on second. And Scott Makowitz is on first base for Ilya Stevens, who's 0 for 2 today, but has also walked twice. Bases full. Will Sword after the meeting. Delivers his first pitch to Stevens on the inside corner for a strike. On a good fastball. HiToms need a win to stay alive in the playoff picture. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Stevens, hit on the ground, and Nate Chrisman makes the play deep in the hole, throw to first. It's picked by Spike. Oh, what a play. Nate Chrisman with a fantastic defensive play to get the HiToms bats up at least one more time. It was a deep stop in the backhanded hole at shortstop. The throw was to first base, and Jack Spike, who picked it off a hop. Nate Chrisman off balance makes the play, and we head into the 8th. A great defensive play by Nate Chrisman. 7-0 the HiToms still trail after that great play by Nate Chrisman. We head into the 8th. You're tuned into HiToms Baseball on the HiToms Radio Network. Welcome back into Fleming Stadium in Wilson, North Carolina. Rowan Watt leads off the inning against the Tobs' new pitcher, Reese Miller, the right-hander. Delivers his first pitch into Watt. Misses low, ball one. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Catches the outside corner, strike one. One and one on Rowan Watt. Here's the next delivery. Just misses the outside corner. Good take by Watt. Reese Miller pitches at West Texas A&M. This most recent season, he was 4-4 with a 5.46 ERA in 15 appearances. So the 2-1 catches the inside corner. It's 2-2 on Watt. And in the Coastal Plain League, he's been one of the best relievers all year. He's 0-1, but don't let that fool you. He has a 1.82 ERA in 14 appearances, and that includes 4 saves. Here's the 2-2 to Watt. He is taken in the dirt. It's 3-2. But the most impressive thing is the Reese Miller's 24 2/3 innings. He has 44 strikeouts to just 5 walks and has allowed 12 hits. So hit every 2 innings and about 2 strikeouts every inning. And a walk once every 5 as that swung on and missed. Strike 3, Rowan Watt chases a nasty off-speed pitch down and out of the zone. And Reese Miller picks up his 45th strikeout of the year. He's at the top of nearly every category in the Coastal Plain League. And has only given up 5 runs the entire year. First pitch in, and Garrett Fisher is taken for a strike. He has struck out a batter in every single appearance he's been in, which has varied from 1 to 3 innings. Except against the Marlins, where he went only 1 hitter. So the next pitch into Fisher is swung through and missed. It's 0-2 with 1 out. The whip is about .70. It stands for walks and hits allowed per inning pitched. So does not allow a lot of base runners. The 0-2 pitch to Fisher. Just misses the inside corner. It's 1-2. Reese Miller's had 1-2 on Garrett Fisher. The delivery from the belt's on the way. Fouled off and out of play. One and 2 to Garrett Fisher. Here's the pitch. Foul tipped into the mitt of Ilya Stevens for the second out. So back-to-back strikeouts to start for Reese Miller. And that brings up Nate Chrisman, who made a great play to end off the bottom of the 7th. As the Tobs had the bases loaded, made a great backhanded stop deep in the hole and threw on 1 bounce to Jack Spike at first base. That would have certainly scored 1 run and possibly could have led to this game being over and possibly the HiToms playoff hopes. Instead, it stays alive for at least 1 more inning as Chrisman takes the first pitch outside, ball 1. One to 0 on Nate Chrisman. Takes it inside. It's 2-0. Two and 0 on Chrisman. That one's hit on the ground, deep into the shortstop hole. Branson Fields fires on the run. Chrisman runs well, so he's in there easily with the infield single. a very similar ball that he made a play on, but Chrisman is quick on the base pass, so he easily beats that out. Good effort, though, by Andrew Branson at shortstop.
Now batting for the HiToms, number 1, center fielder Kane Kepley.
Kane Kepley in the top of the order is up for the HiToms. So Miller gives up a hit. His first pitch into Kepley. Dots the bottom of the zone for a strike. And I guess that's the hit that most opposing teams get against Miller, 1 every 2 innings. That time it was an infield single, but it's the main key against Miller to try to put the ball in play because of his really high strikeout numbers. 0-1 on Kepley. Here's the pitch. Misses outside, and it's 1-1. One and one on Kane Kepley with 2 outs. Chrisman at first base. Stays put. And the pitch is dropped in on the outside corner on the lefty Kepley. And it's 1-2 with 2 outs. Top of the 8th. One-two pitch. And it's driven to left field, giving chases Hoffman, but it's going to be out of play. Hit on a line by Kepley, but tailing foul the entire way. HiToms currently on a 4-game losing streak. They've lost 4 out of their last 5. Only had 2 2-game winning streaks the entire season, and one of those came in the first and second games of the official regular season, not counting exhibition games. The 1-2 pitch is taken low and outside. It's 2-2. And it's been a struggle all year long for the Tommies. Trying to battle back here as the 2-2 pitch to Kepley is lined into right field. Coming on is gurgling. It drops in front of him. It's a base hit. So the HiToms now have 2 on after Kane Kepley reaches out and drops the ball in front of the right fielder, Seth Gergely. So the HiToms looking to keep the line moving, and Andrew Fernandez is up next as Elias Stevens meets with his pitcher, Reese Miller. Chrisman's at second, Kepley's on first. HiToms second hitter in the lineup, Andrew Fernandez, who hits it on the ground off Miller, drops on the ground in front of him, and he throws the first in time to get Lazitz out. So good recovery there by Reese Miller after a ball hit off his leg. And he gets out of the inning allowing no runs. 7-0 the Tobs lead as we head into the bottom of the 8th after the HiToms grab their second hit of the game. You're tuned into HiToms Baseball on the HiToms Radio Network. Chase Waddell is up in the bottom of the 8th here at Fleming Stadium. Tobs leaves 7-0. And the HiToms have a new pitcher on the mound, replacing Will Sword, who really did a good job in relief, going 3 innings, allowing 1 run that was earned. And giving the HiToms a chance for the offense to get back into it, but they just have 3 hits, and 2 other base runners coming on walks today. And it's Brady Garcia on the mound who throws the first pitch inside on the lefty Waddell. It's been a struggle for Garcia this year, 1-2 with ERA above 10. This will be his 8th appearance, along with the 4 starts. The next pitch is high and inside. It's 2-0. 13 2/3, 11 strikeouts, 16 walks, 15 hits. But his last time out against the Mustangs, he allowed 1 run that was unearned, 2 hits and 2 strikeouts. Here's the 2-0 pitch. It's a broken bat up the middle. Nate Chrisman will field behind second base and throw on a first for the first out. It looked like it would have been a play that could have been made from Andrew Fernandez, but Chrisman had a better read and makes the throw over to first. Nate Chrisman's looked sharp today for the HiToms. One of the few positives they can take, but Garcia's start before against the Zookeepers, he went a third of an inning, allowed 8 earned runs, and he was only off 2 hits and 4 walks. So it brings up Anton Lazitz. So he bounced back from that performance, coming in as a relief pitcher against the Mustangs. First pitch is outside. It's 1-0 with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. HiToms being out hit 11-3, 7-0 on the scoreboard. 1-0 pitch from Garcia, foul back into the netting. It's 1-1. One and one on Lazitz with 1 out. Swings through the fastball and was late, and it's 1-2. Lazitz plays at Columbia and has reached all 4 times today. 3 walks and an RBI single. And he's down the count 1-2 to Garcia, who misses inside. It's 2-2. A step and a delivery. It's fouled off and out of play, so Lazitz stays alive. A little more wind coming here to Wilson, North Carolina. The temperature has dropped quite a bit and it feels a little bit colder. Still sitting at 80 degrees, but with 7-mile-per-hour wind, it feels a few degrees cooler than that. Two and two on Lazitz. Takes the pitch high, and it's a full count. Full count on Anton Lazitz. Brady Garcia, the lefty, on the mound. Fires to the plate. Misses inside, ball 4. And the Tobs have a base runner on. Lazitz has drawn, rather, 3 walks. 3 walks and 2 hits. Colby Ott, he's 0 for 4 today. And fouls that first pitch back off into the netting. It's been rare for a hitter to struggle today on the Tobs. Well, they have 5 without hits, but every player is reached besides Ott in this lineup. And a lot of walks across the board as well. That's 11 in the game, 8 by the starter Merritt Dry through 4 innings. Here's the first pitch, or the second pitch in. It's fouled. It's behind home plate. It's 0-2 with 1 out. HiToms are in desperate need of any energy. And 2 on Ott. Garcia's delivery. He stays alive and fouls it back. So Garcia's been able to pound the zone so far. Josh Davis calls time after Garcia looked in for a while towards home plate. Maybe a little miscommunication. Still a pretty good crowd here filling the first, 4 or 5 rows, Fleming Stadium. But the rows are long. It goes across 7 sections about, so it's really a lot of people. Wilson's had some big attendance nights. And with High Point-Thomasville coming to town, sure there was a little more buzz. As Garcia delivers the next 0-2 pitch, a breaking ball's in the dirt, blocked nicely by Davis. But Ott lays off. It's 1-2. With 1 out, and Anton Lazitz at first base, who's reached 5 times today. Colby Ott. His next pitch, it's blown by him on a fastball that had some extra life from Garcia for the second out, and picks up a giant strikeout. So Ott's over 5 on the day. It brings up Josh Hoffman. First one in, Hoffman. It's a breaking ball, lower portion of the zone for a strike. And Garcia has looked strong so far. He's been very off and on this year, looking absolutely fantastic at times and then struggling other times. Here's the 0-1. Swung through and missed. A high heater, and it's 0-2. So Garcia's been able to work in the fastball and the breaking ball and has these Wilson hitters off balance right now. Oh and 2, 2 outs, bottom of the 8th. Garcia delivers to Hoffman, pitches high, runner takes off for second. There's no one covering second, but Fernandez is able to be behind second base in time. And Anton Lazitz steals a base. I believe that's the 7th for the Tobs today. The first 5 came within the first 3 innings. Next pitch in, inside corner, strike 3. Garcia back-to-back strikeouts. And the HiToms have a chance in the top of the 9th. One more chance to keep their season alive. HiToms need a win to stay in playoff contention with 4 games after this to go. Stay with us from Fleming Stadium in Wilson, North Carolina. The HiToms and the Tobs. And the Tobs lead 7-0. You're listening to HiToms Baseball on the HiToms Radio Network. Welcome back to Fleming Stadium. HiToms have 3 outs to keep their playoff hopes alive. And it's Austin Deering, who's been a day one for the Tommies. Hits that first ball out deep into right field. Gurgley going back near the wall. It's gone. A solo home run. Austin Deering to start off the 9th. And the HiToms get on the board. It's 7-1. A pitch that Deering looked in all the way in the middle of the plate, crushed it out to right center field. And another homer for Austin Deering. That's his team-leading 6th on the year. And the HiToms at least avoid being shut out. And now trying to create a comeback against the Tobs' new pitcher, Will Granata, who had a quick welcome to the game moment, facing one of the best hitters on the HiToms in Austin Deering. Faces Josh Karen next, paints the bottom of the zone, strike 1. So after Jackson Brockett has gone, as Karen hits that ball out into center field, Scott Makowitz looking up onto it, and he makes the catch in center field. But like I was mentioning, after Jackson Brockett went 5 scoreless innings, allowing 1 hit, it's gone 1 inning apiece from now. Corbett Anderson and now Reese Miller, and it's Will Granata looking to finish the job, who pitched 1 time before. He went no innings in his last appearance, gave up 1 hit and 4 earned runs with 3 walks, facing just 4 batters. He's out of Mount St. Vincent from Bridgewater, Connecticut. The lefty, 5'10", 185. It's quickly 0-1 on Spike. 0-1 pitch is taken low. It's 1-1. But Austin Deering, some late fireworks for the HiToms as next pitch to Spike. It's way outside. It's 2-1. So Deering was all alone and leading the team in homers with 5, and now even separates more with 6. As that pitch is way outside, it's 3-1. Will Granata looking to find the zone. As Deering's in first place with 6. Juan Correa, Ken Kepley, J.D. Suarez, all 3 have 4, and then Will Verdung has 3. As that next pitch catches the inside corner for a strike. Spike started walking down the first base line. Will Verdung got drafted by the Atlanta Braves in the 13th round, 399th pick, about a month ago. So that's fouled off behind home plate by Spike. It's a full count on Jack Spike with 1 out. 7-1 the HiToms trail, as it was a Austin Deering solo home run to get the Tommies on the board. And Josh Karen flew out to center field's last plate appearance. Jack Spike takes the full count pitch low, ball 4. So the HiToms have another runner on. We can make this a little bit interesting, and you're wondering, with Will Granata facing 4 last time out and not getting a single out, how long his leash is. And I guess it depends on if the HiToms can cut down this lead significantly. It's Josh Davis up next with 1 out. Will Granata's first pitch in, swing and a miss, strike 1. A 1-1 on Davis with Spike on first base. HiToms down 6. Pitch to Davis. Catches the outside corner, strike 2. Oh and 2 on Josh Davis. Granata delivers the pitch. Misses way outside the zone on Josh Davis. Here's the 0-2 pitch in to Davis. It's popped up on the infield. Colby Ott is under it. And the outfield grass, he makes the catch. And I think this is a great time to thank the listeners that we've had for the HiToms this year. Of course, there still is 4 games left. But we'd like to thank everyone who's tuned into any of the broadcasts this year, parents, fans, everyone in between, for supporting HiToms baseball this year, even in a struggling season. It's Rowan Watt up with 2 outs. Takes the first pitch outside, ball 1. And certainly it's not as fun a broadcast when not many people are listening, so we do appreciate everyone who's listened to a broadcast this summer or visited historic Finch Fields. The 1-0 pitch to Rowan Watt is swinging a miss, strike 1. And obviously we still have a few broadcasts to go, so not done quite yet, even if the HiToms are eliminated from playoff contention as they're down to their final out. It's 1-1 on Rowan Watt. Well, Granada's delivery. Slow, it's 2-1. If you're just joining us, HiToms have trailed the entire way. Tobs scored 2 in the bottom of the second, 4 in the bottom of the fourth, 1 in the bottom of the sixth. HiToms' 1 run has been the top of the ninth on an Austin Deering solo home run. It's 7-1. And the breaking ball in from Granada is a strike on Rowan Watt. It's 2-2 with 2 outs. HiToms down to their final strike. And their playoff hopes are in the balance of Rowan Watt. Will Granada delivers the pitch. It's outside, ball 3. Here's the full count pitch, way inside, and Rowan Watt walks. So it's first and second, 2 outs. And the HiToms looking to shuffle through another couple of batters, but instead, it's going to be a mound visit for the Tobs. Tying run still sitting well in the dugout. Is Garrett Fisher, the newcomer, will be up. But it's going to be a new pitcher for the Tobs, as Will Granada records 2 outs in the inning. HiToms get on the board with the Austin Deering solo home run, his team leading 6th of the year. 2 outs, top of the 9th rather. We'll be back from Fleming Stadium as you're tuned to HiToms Baseball on the HiToms Radio Network. Welcome back to Fleming Stadium. Tobs lead 7-1. HiToms have first and second, 2 outs. Down to their last out, and Aaron Moss from Indiana State is called on to try to record the last out for Wilson. No record on the year for Moss. 1.80 ERA in 5 appearances. That just comes across 5 innings. And it's allowed 3 runs, 1 being earned this year. 2 strikeouts, 2 walks, and 3 hits. So not pitch a ton this year, but certainly the Tobs are looking to close out the HiToms and not even let them get close to the tying run at the plate. With Jack Spike at second base, Rowan Watt at first. Garrett Fisher steps in, the righty, against the righty Moss from the Indiana State Sycamores. First pitch in. It's low, ball 1. HiToms will be eliminated from playoff contention if they lose, but right now, Garrett Fisher is sitting now in a 2-0 count as it misses in the dirt again from Moss. Last Salon to earn a run in the first of his 5 appearances, which was on July 14th against the Peninsula Pilots. 2-0 on Fisher. Here's the pitch. Just a little bit low in the zone. Elias Stevens couldn't hold on to it, otherwise I think it would have been a little bit closer, but either way, it missed below the zone. So it's 3-0 on Garrett Fisher with 2 outs. Got to think there's no chance he's swinging on this pitch. Moss delivers the pitch inside, and it's a 4-pitch walk, and the bases are loaded for the HiToms. It's Nate Chrisman up to the plate. Who had an infield single his last time up. The tying run is now in the hole, and that would be Andrew Fernandez with the leadoff hitter Kane Kepley on deck. Spike on third, Watt on second. Fisher on first. HiToms still down to their final out, as that's off the glove of Stevens, and it bounce away near the Tobs dugout, but everyone holds at their bases. So that was more of a diagonal path the baseball went, as Stevens is going to talk to his pitcher Moss. Maybe a cross-up, because that looked like it just went right off his glove. HiToms wish they could have gotten a little more traffic on the bases earlier, but trying to make do of what they can right now. Bases still full, 1-0 after the meeting. Next pitch into Chrisman. It's taken for a strike. It's 1-1. HiToms up on the dugout or sitting on the bench, which is above a low dugout. 1-1 on Chrisman. The 1-1 pitch popped up on the infield. This should do it. It's Colby Ott calling for it, and he makes the catch, and the HiToms are officially eliminated out of the playoff picture. HiToms strand the bases loaded in the 9th, and they lose 7-1. Only run for the HiToms came on the first pitch of the top of the 9th, and it was a solo home run by Austin Deering, his 6th of the year. So the HiToms fall to 15-27, 7-13 in the second half. And that means they're 5.5 games out of a playoff spot with 4 to go, and they're officially eliminated. The Tobs improved to 25-19 and 11-9 in the second half of play. So the Tobs, who came in trailing the Pilots by 2 games, will only be trailing by a game and a half, depending on what happens in the Pilots-Sharks game. It's currently 1-0 Pilots in the 6th. But for the HiToms, it's going to be about trying to knock off other people the rest of the season. The Blowfish 12-7, Zookeepers 10-8. And the HiToms are now in dead last place in the second half, the West Division overall, and the entire Coastal Plain League during the entire season. But they're looking to grab some other wins down the stretch with 4 to go as they're back at home against the Asheboro Zookeepers. 7-1, the Tobs win the ball game. Once again, thank you for joining us all season long. We still have a few more broadcasts to go, but I'm Adam Oppenheim. Thanks for tuning in from Fleming Stadium in Wilson, North Carolina. 7-1, the Tobs knock off the HiToms and eliminate them from playoff contention. Thank you for tuning in as you've been listening to the HiToms Baseball on the HiToms Radio Network. Have a great night, everybody.